So I was reminded about a story that happened a long time ago in my life that I wanted to share with you guys. Um, usually I don't really want to preach to anybody and tell anybody about how they're supposed to believe or anything like that. But I just had a spiritual moment back in the day, which made my faith in God so much stronger. You know what I mean? But there's a story that true story. It was when my daughter was young, and she wasn't really a good swimmer. So what we did one weekend, we met up with one of our friends, and we decided to go to this lagoon out there in Claremont somewhere. And it was a nice water park. It was beautiful with the slides, with the lazy river. And in the middle of this lake, there is this floating lagoon, like a floating island. And we all saw the island, but we were on the beach, on the beach little area where it has a little nice little shore and a little bit, you can walk down and it gets deeper, and then you can either keep on going and get to the lagoon, to the floating island, or you can stay in the little shallow area and just play like a little beach, right? So me being an early parent, we were just supervising our kids in the water, and they were running around the water, and my wife was sitting there with her friends. They were talking, conversating, and drinking or whatever. And I was in the water just supervising my kids. So my daughter and her friend decided to swim to the lagoon because she thought she could swim over there. So I did not notice her swimming over there, right? And hold on, before I continue the story, it gets better. But don't forget to like and subscribe to Morrison Body Fitness. Just like and subscribe right now to help out the channel. I'm trying to grow the channel. More videos and more stories will come. Real life stories. Did it? Cool. So she was swimming out to the lagoon. I didn't know how far she was. I was still paying attention to my newborns. Like my son, I think my son was like a little baby at the time. So I was paying attention to him in his little floaty. But my wife was actually watching them, and I was like throwing the ball and everything. But I didn't see her start to swim. So all I hear is, Dad, help me. Once you hear that, it pops. You're like, okay, let's go. I turned around and looked. I said, what you doing? I'm like, why are you swimming? I'm like, what are you doing? So I'm like, okay, jump on my back. I feel like I'm a strong swimmer. So I decide for her to jump on my back, and I'll carry her over there. Carry her over to the lagoon so she can play on the floaty, the big floaty island. I didn't realize nobody else was at the floaty island. So I'm like, maybe no one else can get to the floaty island, or nobody wants to play on the floaty island. I'm spitting everywhere. Nobody wants to play on the floaty island. That's why they're not over there. So I'm going to take my kids over to the floaty island so they can play over at the floaty island. I start to swim over there. I didn't realize how deep the lagoon was. So I'm walking, and I'm like, it's cool. I can swim a couple of feet to get to the lagoon. Started to swim, one arm swim, carrying her. And then when I got there, her friend was right behind, following me, take her to the island. But she couldn't make it. So I'm like, wait, I'm coming back. So I'm trying to swim. She's like, help. I'm like, oh, fart. So I didn't really say fart. It's for the PG. But I decided to, I took my daughter over to the island, pushed her on top of the island, and said, hey, stay. I'll be right back. I told her I'll be right back. Went to get her friend. Once I got her friend, I'm swimming with her friend. I'm at this point, wasn't prepared to do any kind of any kind of work. So I had to turn into work mode. So I'm grabbing her and breathing, trying to get there. Got her there, and I was like, good, I need a rest. So once I got her to the island, she jumps on the island and stays on there. I hear a whistle. Nobody on the island. Get off the island. Get away from the float. I'm like, what? My daughter jumps off right away. My daughter jumps off right away. I'm like, don't wait. Then her friend from the other side, scared about the whistle, jumps off on the other side of the island. So I'm just getting to the island. I'm tired. Once I grabbed my daughter, I brought her back to the island, right? I brought her back to the island and I told her, hold on. Hold on. I went to go get her friend that was on the other side of the island and bring her over and bring her around. Her friend was swimming and couldn't make it to where she was going. I don't know where she was going. I grabbed her and started to swim. At this point, I was gassed. And I don't know what turned on, but I was underwater, swimming with her friend, brought her over. I don't know why my daughter started to swim already. If I felt like they wanted to test how strong I was or how much energy I had, but I was scared. I was scared because once I got to the shore with her friend and my daughter started to struggle and go underwater, I started to suck in water and I couldn't, and I had to spit it all out, not breathe at all, and get her friend all the way over there with the little air that I had in my lungs. At this point, I see my daughter struggling. I pushed her friend over and told her, make sure she stayed in one place. Don't move. I swam over. I don't know what took me over there. I tell you, it was only God that guided me over to where she was at because I could not move. My whole body was locking up, but I was just swimming. It was going to be to the point that I was going to scream for the lifeguard. It didn't get to that point, but I got there still almost breathing in air, almost breathing in water, right? I got to my daughter, and I, for some reason, got all the way down to the bottom of the lagoon. I don't know where I was at. I might have been closer to the shore than I thought. I pushed up, got a little bit of air, and I pushed my daughter up. I pushed her up out of the water so she could breathe. And then I just was underwater. Just, yo, I swear, it was the most nerve-wracking, panicking moment. But in all of that that was going on, it was like something took over my brain and something took over my body and everything else, because there was all signs that I was out of air. I could not breathe. I wasn't able to focus. I was panicking. I was going for the first person. And then I saw the second person and I was just going. I was going. But God gave me the strength. And people be like, oh man, maybe you were just in good shape. Maybe you were just in good shape. And that, maybe I was, maybe whatever. I just thank God that wasn't the worst that could have happened, because the panic level, if I could I told my wife about it and she was like sitting over there. I'm watching her, not even noticing the struggle that I was going through. And she was sitting on the beach, not even alerted that we were going through a situation. And I couldn't breathe. I couldn't scream. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't do anything. But it all got handled. When I told my wife the story, she was like, I couldn't believe what? She was laughing. She was like, what? I can't. No, that didn't happen. And I'm like, babe, ain't nobody was out here to help me. But I thank God for getting me through that. There's a lot of things that you gotta be like, yo, gotta be super thankful. Because I would not have made it through there without without some kind of divine intervention. The way, even this, the way my body was created to push through flight and fright, my adrenaline was pumping, everything was going. For the body to survive, there has to be a creator that created this body to survive and to fight. So my main thing for this is don't ever stop the fight. Always believe, and you'll achieve. I'm out. Hope y'all like the story. I'm probably get you some more. I got some more, but I just wanted to share. Take care.